Hey, welcome, sisters, to the summit. I'm Yvette Babs Walker, and today I want to help you manage your distractions and declutter your mind by decluttering your room. I hope we're going to have some fun today. And before we get started, I'd love to know where you are. Share your state or your country in the comments. Let's see how far you are from me. I am in Oklahoma, in the middle of the country, and I've been here since 2006. I moved into the house I am now, like right after I got married in 2017. So I haven't been here that long, but it definitely feels like home to me. I have a full time job outside of the home. I work at a university, but I have my home to take care of. Obviously, my husband, we take care of each other. And I have two fur kids, a black Labrador retriever and a Maine Coon cat. They're both big animals. The cat is big for its breed, and they shed a lot. So, with clutter, I got to deal with animal hair. All right, today though, and if you're here, you are probably here because, like me, you probably wonder, why am I not getting as much work done as I know I could? I have the will, I have the calling, but sometimes I just get stuck. Listen, I get it. We're busy women, whether we're taking care of our families in our homes or out, or having to work outside the home or work remotely, or whether we're taking care of a business or all of it. It is easy for us to get distracted. And it was really the same for me too. During this program, we want to focus on a few things. We want to focus on some things to try to determine why we are not getting as much done and why we're getting distracted. And I hope by the end of our time together, we'll realize that clutter can get in the way of creativity. So we're going to talk about organizing and decluttering to give yourself the freedom to explore new ideas, maybe ideas that hadn't even come to you. You'll be amazed how much easier it is to stay focused when things are more tidy. We're going to create a clean palette, or we're going to talk about creating a clean palette and decorating the idea to your inspired taste. And we're going to talk about how good you will feel when you're able to achieve your goals and follow your dreams. Let go of the old, make room for the new, get creative, and declutter. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what I mean when I say decluttering, because I'm not talking about decluttering your whole house, which will be great. But today we're just going to talk about decluttering the room that you do the majority of your work in. Because if you're like me, it's easy to start work in a cluttered room, but that you forget what you were doing and you move on to the next thing because there's so many things really in your line of focus, really. Have you ever seen the Pixar film Up? Well, if you have, you'll know what I mean when I say squirrel. It's like that adorable golden retriever getting distracted by a squirrel and leaving behind his bone or something. For us, it's unfinished work. And that's what we really want to try not to do. What does workspace mean to you? So I'm fortunate to be able to have a room to devote to my home office. But I realize, everyone's not like that. You may work in different areas of your house. You may work in a corner. You may do your reading in a corner chair, or just take notes or things like that. You might just have a small table, maybe in a breakfast nook, or elsewhere in a room. For me, I used the dining room table for quite a while. And that was what I had. And that was, what was good for me. One thing that we're definitely going to realize is, we've got to think about the process. Okay. For me, the process was cleaning out and then either removing or redistributing the materials that were there and then focus on the goal. Now, I know experts might tell you that you need to focus on the goal first. You need to start with step 3. But if you're like me, that simply didn't work. If I'm in the midst of the clutter, I'm stuck and I can't really even see the goal what they say, the forest for the trees, I couldn't see the goal because of all the stuff around me. But what you don't want to do is get stuck at the goal setting phase. And so, you know, I was. And so I had to do things my way, as they say. So what I had was a multi-purpose room. It was a combination craft room, but it's what I had. And so I just figured I'm just going to work with what I have and be done with that. And that's important for you to think about as well. Now, the room itself could be great. The craft portion of the room was for my inspiration and creativity. It wasn't a bad thing. I loved making journals and home decor and gifts. And I loved to Bible journal. To be honest, is what got me back in the Bible. But this is what happened. I began to accumulate stuff. And I began to buy just ink pens, colored pencils, ink pads, stickers, paper and paper and paper and everything you can think of. It got out of hand. I got way too much stuff, and the craft room was really taking over the whole room. It really wasn't becoming a combination craft room and office. It was becoming a craft room with like a little piece of office in it for me to get my work done. And what you might say, well, this isn't that bad. What you see here is just one of the many storage containers that I had filled with crafting items. Again, crafting is great, but as I began to do more of a different kind of work, my podcast and my online ministry, I didn't have time to craft. And in the time I did have to craft, there was just all this stuff in the way. And then when I wanted to do my online ministry work, again, clutter everywhere, and I wasn't able to focus. But here's the thing. When I walked into the room with an assignment God had given me, I knew I needed to complete it, but I was finding it harder and harder to do because of all the distraction. So I had to do something, and this was hard. It took a long time, took years of stopping and starting. I would argue with myself, this wasn't just random craft stuff. This was important crafting. I can make extra room here, extra room there. How can I just give away things? But I knew I had to do it. And as I began to want to do more video and continue podcasting and writing books, the clutter was affecting my ability to finish my God-given assignments. I needed a clear mind to write and to interpret the messages, that God was giving me. So the clutter had to go. Now, I couldn't throw everything away, certainly not all of the Bible journaling materials. And I really didn't want to throw anything away, but I realized I probably needed to get rid of 75% of the materials. Once I made the decision to not throw away things and to gift them, it made it so much easier for me just to continue going through this process, because I knew that the decisions I made of what to keep and what to get rid of wouldn't help the landfill, it'd be helping another person. I sent out a call on social media and asked who would like some of the things that I was giving away. I got several responses right away, and I started dividing everything up. I wanted to create lovely care packages for my friends and followers. And so I got out some boxes, some grocery bags, and I began to divide among all the boxes and bags, the pens, the papers, the other materials that I had. Some people actually lived out of town, so I had to box them up and take them to the post office and mail them. And it kind of felt like Christmas in July as I was mailing the care packages. In the end, I had about 6 or 7 bags and boxes to distribute. Again, this made me feel really good for a couple of reasons. First, I was actually making decisions about what to keep and what to get rid of. That really had me paralyzed for quite a while and kept me from cleaning the room and thinking about what I was going to use it for. And second, I felt good about knowing that the receivers could use my extras. In the end, I cleaned the room out completely, had the carpets cleaned, and I began to see what could be. It began to really help me figure out how I was going to use the room. Here's another example of what I did. I knew the purpose of the room became clearer to me as I began to move out the stuff. So as you can see, the before picture, I knew that I needed to have a table there that would have my microphones, my lights, and things like that. I was able to put some additional shelves up on the wall. It, it's an inspiring place for me now. Is the only way I can say it. And I have a couple other after pictures. At one point, I had a sewing machine in there. I mean, I just had everything in this room. It was crazy. But I created a secondary seating area, as you can see in the picture on the right. Whereas if I want to have a guest in for my podcast, or if I want to have another area to do video, I have that. One thing I kept, and if you've seen any of my previous videos, you've seen this poster. It's an inspirational poster that talks about the fact that we are here not by accident, but by God's choosing. It's been up in the room the whole time, but it was hidden behind the desk, as you can see in the picture on the left, and all that stuff. And now it has a pretty prominent role in the room. I read it every time I come in. Makes me feel so, so good. So before we leave, I want you to understand that it took all this decluttering for me to begin to realize what the goal and the focus for the room is. I knew I wanted it to be my full office, my full studio for my podcast and my online ministry. But I didn't really know beyond that what it could look like. I wanted it to be well decorated. I wanted it to be inspiring. I wanted to have flowers. The other thing is I moved some furniture pieces in from other rooms. So in that second seating area I told you about, the black leather easy chair with the foot ottoman is there. What you can't really see is a black and white cowhide rug that used to be in the living room that I moved in here. Also, I can sit in that chair and relax with a good inspirational book or read the Bible. So the question is, did it work? I'm happy to report that yes, it did work. Now, I'm working on a few things, other things in here, and I might continue to move some decor around. But when I open the door, unlike before, instead of coming in and seeing a mess, I see my beautiful room. It inspires me. Oh my goodness, it inspires me to do good kingdom work. So I want to leave you with 5 steps so that you can declutter your space and your mind. So after watching this video, I want you to go into your room or part of the room that you're using and take a good look at where you work. Size it up. Imagine that you could move or get rid of as much as you need without guilt or regret. That's what kept me paralyzed for so long. Anything goes. You want to start with that clean palette that I told you about. So you've got to move things out. And you got to move things off the table, off those shelves to the bare minimum. Number 2, clean, clean, clean. That means shampoo the rugs, wash and polish the floor, clean the table and the shelves. They say cleanliness is next to godliness, and that works for me. Again, number 3, this step might be out of order for you, but I got to have that clean palette before I can even think about the use of the room. So that's step number 3, at least it is for me. What do you need to accomplish in this space? Now that it's clean, figure it out. Think about the amount of space that you need and how you'll use it. You might not need that much room. You might just need a table and a laptop and whatever makes you feel good, and that is fine. But understanding what you need to accomplish will help you figure all that out. And having made a plan, this is number 4 now, what extras will you need? What furniture will you need? What can you repurpose? What can you bring in from another room? I needed space on my table for my lights, microphones, and my computer. Again, you may have different needs. Finally, don't forget those extras that make you feel good. I love flowers, so I have plants in this room, and they can be fake as long as they make you feel good. I love good smells, so I always have a candle lit when I'm in here. I'm a joy girl, so I have joy signs all around the room and a sign that says grace. You can have inspirational music playing when you're in here doing your work, really whatever gets you going. Listen, it's not rocket science, but I can't tell you how long it actually took me to come to the decision of cleaning. I think that if you begin just to clean out and think about what you need, you'll be able to make a plan and a place that will give you the chance for you to do your best work. I'm Yvette Walker. I'm founder and host of Positively Joy Ministries. Thanks for watching.